guys, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Read Asphyxia. So according to the game developer, there are 4 endings in total, and the only way to get Lillian's ending is by ignoring everyone else. So let's do that. Let's start a new game and try to get Lillian's ending. Let's skip through the scenes that we've already seen. Okay, so for this one, let's ignore the Quincy, because apparently there's also an ending that's the Quincy's route, so let's ignore. It's fine, Samantha. Don't bother explaining yourself. I know what you really think. But Bobby, I'm tired, even if you aren't. I think I'm going to take a nap. Oh, so for this route, Samantha didn't know that the Quincy was crying over a video game. So she had this conclusion. Okay, so according to the developer, I have to choose the first choice in order to get Lillian's ending. I'm just a little bit surprised. What do you mean? Why should you be surprised? I thought you were supposed to be ignoring me. Don't be so melodramatic. I wasn't ignoring you. I'm not a child. And what were you doing? I was just avoiding you, that's all. You can call it whatever you want, Lillian. Either avoiding or ignoring, but it all amounts to the same thing. No matter what you say, you have not spoken to me for almost 3 months, and that is a fact. That's right. You may be trying to act reasonable, Lillian, but you cannot deny that you have not been a good friend to Sam. You should know how she gets over the holidays. You should have expected it. You are supposed to be her friend. I apologize if I have caused any offense. It was not my intention. Your intentions don't matter. The end result is what's important. And yet, despite your high-landed lecturing, I seem to recall you were the one who went home to stay with your family over Christmas, whilst I remained at St. Mary's with Samantha. How peculiar. Why, you... That doesn't have anything to do with anything. No, it does not. Neither do you. This conversation is one Samantha and I should have alone. You have no part to play in it. Of all the rude things, I've been friends with Samantha far longer than you have, Lillian. And Samantha is old enough to stand her own in a discussion without your help. Why, you... Roberta, it's all right. Lillian is probably right. This is a conversation we should have alone. Indeed. I'm glad at least you understand, Sam. Now, however, is probably not the best time for it. What do you mean? I mean, we're falling further and further behind the rest of the class. We should hurry. Yes, of course. Fucking bitch. I don't really know. I think I'll defend Lillian again. It sure is a coincidence seeing you here. Not really. Well, I just didn't expect it. But we came here on the same school trip. It was inevitable we would run into each other again at some point. I suppose so. But you're not in my study group, so I thought I wouldn't get the chance. Actually, where's the rest of your group? You didn't get lost too, did you? Okay, so I think I can skip again in here. It's just that in this route, Samantha isn't as sad as she was in the previous route that we went to. So let's skip. I can't remember what I chose here, but let's agree with Lillian here. Okay, so again, according to the developer, you need to confide in Lillian in order to get her ending. I did not stop talking to you because you were depressed. Not entirely anyway. But, so if that isn't the reason, well then what is? I can respond if you like, but I doubt my answer will satisfy you. It's alright. I know I can be quite a difficult person, and very little has satisfied me lately. I have no expectations that this will. Well, I stopped talking to you because it was upsetting me. I upset you? This whole ordeal was very upsetting in general, especially given it happened over Christmas. I tried many times to ask you why you were so sad, but even though you gave me answers, they were not answers I could understand. You said that you felt lonely even though I continued to be by your side, and what more could I have done than that? It seemed no matter how hard I tried to console you, I could make no difference. I couldn't help. It all began to feel like an exercise in futility, and every time I saw you, it only made me feel worse. That isn't true, you know. What isn't? That you didn't make a difference. Even though you may not have realized it. God knows I was in a bad state back then, and I was in no fit mind to tell you this myself. Being with you really did help. Having you by my side, it made me feel like I was wanted, needed, that my existence had some kind of meaning. Your existence has meaning, whether I'm with you or not. You shouldn't base your own self-worth around my opinion. That isn't healthy. I know. Don't you think I don't know that? I'm well aware. I'm not stupid, Lillian. In fact, I'm a person with reasonable intellectual capabilities, which makes me feel even more dejected when I consider just how little I have done with them. I know all this sensible advice you could possibly give me already. Make sure to eat 3 meals a day. Go to bed before 6 in the morning. Don't drink too much, it's bad for you. I know all that. I know. Then why don't you follow these helpful life lessons? Well, I have been trying, with the last point at least. I do my best. And just how much is your best? I haven't had anything alcoholic in the last 2 months at least. Okay, so I think I should skip this. because it's just a repeat of what we have witnessed already. Let's just continue reading through the stuff that we haven't seen yet. Oh, this is a new one, right? Okay. One of the biggest I know, but maybe that's part of your appeal. Huh? Now take this and wipe your face. No student of St. Mary should ever look so woebegone. It will give our school a bad name. You're sure? Of course I'm sure. But it'll get dirty. Isn't that the point of having a handkerchief? It would be completely useless if I carried it around and never used it, wouldn't it? But being overly considerate isn't actually a virtue, you know. It's a bother. If I'm telling you that you can use my handkerchief, then you can use it. I like to think I'm a fairly straightforward person, but I'd feel bad about it. Look, everything in this world exists for a reason. The purpose of this handkerchief is to dry tears, so you might as well let it fulfill its role. I didn't realize you were such a materialist. I'm not. I'm simply being sensible. At the expense of sensitivity. Where's your sense of romance, Lillian? I have a great deal of tolerance for romanticism, but only when it concerns the beauties of natural world. I have far less tolerance for stubborn people who refuse to do what's best for them, on vague moral grounds that don't make any sense. I can never argue with you, Lillian. You always know how to put me in my place. There. Do you feel better now? A little, I suppose. Your eyes still look a little red, but you're more presentable now. You have my official stamp of approval. Approval? Yes. As the head of St. Mary's Student Council, I declare that you are now fit once more to wear the uniform of our hallowed institution. Thank you. I will treasure your approval until my dying day, Lily. As you should. It's not easy to obtain. You cut your hair, didn't you? Yes I did. Does it look alright? I think it needs some work. More than some, actually. Is it really that bad? I don't like to judge others based on their appearances, but yes, it does look bad. Hey now! If you don't judge based on appearances, why do you always get on my case about the state of my uniform? Because our uniforms are important. How we wear them reflects directly upon our school, and on me too as the head of the student council. It is an important issue, one that many of our peers don't seem to take seriously. Haha, you've become so officious, Lily. If I was as officious as you claim I am, Miss Coleridge, would I let you use that old nickname so easily? I suppose not, no. And I doubt I would be so concerned about your well-being either. You're worried about me? Of course I am. How can I help but worry knowing how unbalanced you are? And this new look isn't instilling a great deal of confidence in me. I don't think your coping methods are the healthiest. If I had a healthy coping method, I would not be so unwell in the first place. True. But I'm a little happy to hear that. I thought that you'd been ignoring me these last 3 months. I was trying to. That didn't mean I wasn't thinking about you though. It was impossible for me not to when you kept turning up to class so late, if you bothered to turn up at all, looking paler and sicker with the passing of every single day. I guess I really am stupid, huh? Well, cutting your own hair was not the best idea you have in mind. It looks as though you tried to hack it off with a pair of scissors in the middle of the night. Guilty as charged. You haven't changed at all, have you? Neither have you, Lily. Not really, because I don't need to. I'm perfectly happy the way I am. You, on the other hand, are you saying I'm no good? Do you wish I was somebody else? I've been trying, Lillian, really, I have, but I don't know if a complete metamorphosis is entirely possible. I'm a human being, not a caterpillar. I know. I should stop holding you to such high standards. I'll only be disappointed. It's nice to know that my best friend thinks of me as nothing but a disappointment. You still consider me your best friend after all this time? Yes, I do. You said it yourself. No matter how much time passes, I've remained exactly the same. And my feelings for you too. They'll probably stay the same too no matter what. I can't help it. Well, I suppose I'm flattered. Even if I find it impossible to change right now, I can at least give you a little bit of help. That sounds a little ominous. What are you going to do, Lily? Nothing bad. I just thought... Huh? Your hair is bothering me. The ends are all uneven. Just looking at you annoys me. So, it's not that different from usual, right? Perhaps not, but this is something I can put right with little effort. And I intend to put it right as soon as possible. You want to try and fix me, Lily? I will not hope for such a miracle. That would be far too unlikely. Well, they are called miracles because they are unlikely. If they weren't, it wouldn't be miraculous. Exactly. So I won't wait around on any false hopes. Instead, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. You're so reliable. And you're so consistently unreliable, I suppose. But I suppose you are reliable in your own way. Reliably unreliable? That is a paradox. Then it suits you perfectly, given you're so difficult. Touché. Yes, of course. How admirable of you. It's a relief you came back anyway. Georgia was convinced you were going to go and hang yourself from a tree. Well, I did briefly consider it, but I didn't have any rope with me and could not think of a workable alternative. Couldn't you have used a creeper? A creeper? We're not in the jungle. Where would I find a creeper strong enough for the task? I suppose you have a point. We told the teachers that you had gone missing when we got back. They considered sending out a search party. Was everyone that worried? They really were. Everybody knows how flaky you are. That's so embarrassing. I don't want anyone to worry about me. I'm not worth it. Then you should go inside and see Miss Pope. Tell her that you're not dead. Do I really have to? I'm not in the mood to be shouted at. Yes, you do. Nobody else can do it for you. You need to take some responsibility for your actions. I know. I understand. I will go and see her, and I will apologize. Good luck. Thanks. It would be you, wouldn't it, Miss Coleridge? Every school trip has one, and in this case, it really could not have been anybody else. I'm sorry. And why did you leave your group? Even though you were lost, you should have run off on your own. That was an incredibly foolish thing to do. I know. I suppose it must be because I'm quite a foolish person. Don't try to be clever with me. I have little time for this self-pitying language of yours. I beg you, if not for my sake, then your own, not to try my patience any further. I'm sorry. You're always sorry, and I have fast become tired of your banal interactions. They bore me. Well, if I cannot apologize, then I don't know what else to say. Perhaps try, instead of being a lazy student who does not listen, and then apologizing afterwards as though this waives you of any and all responsibility for your actions, you could try to pull yourself together. If you started to arrive to class in time, remembered to take notes, and did as you were told, you would no longer need to apologize anymore, because I would not have cause to be mad with you. Did you ever consider this? I will try to become a better student. I know I must cause you a lot of grief, and I do not enjoy being a burden upon others. I don't suppose anybody wishes to be a burden, but wishing is a very ineffectual use of your time. Simply wishing for things does not make them so. If you want to change, you need to take action. I understand. If you understand, why do you not do something? Why do you so stubbornly insist upon repeating your mistakes over and over again? Because I don't know how else to act. Because this is just how I am. I suspected as much. We do not get along, do we, Miss Coleridge? In fact, we have never gotten along for as long as I have had the displeasure of teaching you. No, miss. and I do not believe we will ever get along, even if we were the last two people alive on this planet. However, this is not because you are unintelligent. Infuriating as it is for me to admit, it is obvious you have a lot of talent. Huh? Thank you, miss. You do not need to thank me. I'm not trying to flatter your ego. I'm simply telling you the truth. Though it is also true I often wish to give you low grades regardless because you annoy me. Is it ethical for a teacher to admit to doing such a thing? I don't care what teachers are and aren't supposed to do, and I don't think it particularly matters. Despite my own biases, I still try to be as professional as possible. Although I wish to give you low grades, I know I cannot. Not in good conscience. When you bother to turn in your work on time, the quality is always exemplary. I know you have some intelligence and I know you could achieve great things if you put in some effort. However, this only irritates me further. Although you are intelligent, you fail to use your brain. You are squandering your talent, something which I find unforgivable. When you consistently show up to class late and are so sleepy to struggle to keep your eyes open, you are not making good use of your skills. You are hampering your own chances and sabotaging your own future, condemning yourself to a life of mediocrity that you do not deserve. Do yourself a favor and try to get your priorities sorted. Start going to bed at a sensible time and lay off all the drinking before it does you serious harm. And if you want my opinion as a professional, I would strongly recommend against the drugs too. For one thing, it's illegal, and for another, you seem to be exactly the kind of person to get hooked on things that hurt you. Where did you hear about that? I didn't hear it anywhere. It was intuition. I already knew about the late nights and the excessive drinking. I was not entirely sure about the drugs though. Your reaction, however, has provided me with more than enough evidence. You tricked me. Trust me, it was not hard to do. You're very bad at hiding how you feel. You're not going to tell anybody else about this, are you? If people knew, I could get into serious trouble. Yes, you really could get into serious trouble, couldn't you? If I wished, I could easily get you expelled from school, which would be a pity. You're so close to completing your first year of sixth form. Without your A-level results, I do not much fancy your chances of getting into a university of choice. Cambridge, wasn't it? Well, keep trying your hardest, Miss Coleridge. Ow! Just remember, I know things about you, incriminating things, and I'm not kind enough to keep them a secret. If you make a nuisance out of yourself any more on this field trip, I will not hesitate to make these very interesting pieces of information I have gleaned today known to the school board. You better watch your step from now on. I have eyes everywhere. Yes, miss. I will do my best. Good. I'm happy we were able to have this little conversation, Miss Coleridge. Why, I almost feel like we could become good friends. Don't you? Are you feeling alright? I'm okay. I think my stomach hurts just a little. It's probably psychological. All of the ailments you suffer from are like the mysterious chest pains you get whenever you have to work on your English essays. You're probably right. Can't help how I feel though. I imagine, if you could, you would not choose to be constantly beleaguered by phantom illnesses. Exactly. I'm not that much of a masochist. I suppose I just feel anxious. You always feel anxious. Yes, but at least I know why this time. Then please enlighten me. I would like to know. Roberta and I had something of an argument earlier. Roberta? An argument? No, that's unusual. You think? After speaking to her in our student council meetings, I was under the impression she was the kind of person who would make passive-aggressive remarks, but would never dare to be openly confrontational. I think that may be one of her good points though. She doesn't like upsetting people. It's noble. Or cowardly. But you are entitled to your own opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. Come on, Lillian. Roberta is my friend. You have to speak to her of her like that. I speak of people in whatever way I want. I have no obligation to be polite to those I do not like. But I digress. I suppose, despite her apparent dislike for you upsetting others, she was able to ignore this good point of hers when it came to you. Yes, well, it was a stupid argument really. I think she gets it, but I don't know if I would feel comfortable sharing a room with her tonight. I don't think she wants to spend time with me. If you wish, I suppose you can always share my room. I can? Of course. I would not make the offer if I did not mean it. We have been through this routine already, haven't we? But aren't there supposed to be 4 girls to a room? Wouldn't you need to kick somebody out? Don't worry about it. There's an odd number of students on this trip, remember? Oh yes, I forgot. And thanks to that, there are only 3 people in my room. Those people being myself naturally, and De Quincy, if you can stand the thought of spending time with her. Well, I think I'll manage. It was always you she was the most obsessed with, Lillian, not me. Indeed. And the third girl is Johanna. Johanna Keats. You know her, don't you? Johanna? Isn't she the small girl? The one who's always ill? That's right. Anyway, the offer stands. Do you want to stay with me tonight? Well, if you are sure you would not mind, I would not bother you too much. You will not bother me. I will not let you. That almost sounds like a threat, Lillian. It isn't. I'm simply telling you that I will not tolerate your company if you start to act foolish. I am a woman of great compassion, but even my patience can get worn thin. I apologize if I have borrowed too liberally from your boundless compassion over the years, Lillian. I suppose I can be quite selfish sometimes. We're only human. We're all capable of being selfish. I will try not to hold it against you. But I believe I should offer you some form of apology, even though I've always disliked doing so. You're apologizing to me? I suppose I am. In retrospect, I was probably too curt with you. I wasn't fair. I know I have always known that you're not entirely well, and your behavior is not always your own fault. I should have been more supportive. Cutting you out of my life was a rash decision, and one I somewhat regret making. You mean you missed me? Unexpectedly so. Really? Me? Samantha Taylor Coleridge, who was only ever close to grief? That is correct. The Samantha Taylor Coleridge who kept you up all night before an important English exam, so you got a B instead of an A. The one and only. The Samantha Taylor Coleridge who kept asking to borrow your history notes and then split water all over your textbooks and ruined it? The very same. The Samantha Taylor Coleridge who... Shh. Shh. Yes, you. Samantha Taylor Coleridge, the irritating girl who is sitting right in front of me, giving me a headache, and doing her very best to destroy any feelings of goodwill I may still hold towards her. I apologize, Lillian. I just don't really know what to say. This feels like some kind of a dream. Then your dreams are more banal than I had imagined. Do you want me to pinch you? No, thank you. Are you sure you don't mind doing this? Of course I'm sure. If I minded, I wouldn't have volunteered. Well, if you're sure, I just don't want to be a burden. You aren't a burden, silly. I already said. Ow. You need to stop with this habit of second-guessing me. It's almost as though you don't trust me, and all relationships need to be grounded in trust. I suppose you're right. I'm sorry, Lillian. I do not mean to doubt you. I'm worried. You're always worried about something or other. I know, but we all just managed to repair a relationship, and I'm scared. If I start acting too clingy, it will just fall apart again. Don't fret so much. I'm not as fickle as you are. Sometimes I worry you know me even better than I know myself. Well, if I really do know the best, perhaps you should start listening to my advice. Now lean back and be quiet. I need to concentrate. Samantha, you're not saying very much. Is that a bad thing? It isn't bad, but it's unusual for you. I'm sorry. I thought you wanted me to be quiet. Not this quiet, though. You're all stiff, too. You should try and relax. Feel free to talk to me. Just don't ask me any complicated questions. I need to concentrate, else I may end up one ear short. Maybe I would try to look like a tortured artist then. It might suit me. Perhaps, but that kind of look would be rather permanent and I'm worried you would later grow to regret it. How would you be able to listen to that awful music you like so much with only one ear? The music I like is not awful. It's just German. Doesn't that amount to the same thing? I think Germany would be very offended if it heard you say that, Lillian. Let it be offended then. I don't care for Germany, and I doubt it cares for me either. Nobody else can hear us anyway. You might think that, but the world we live in is a strange and mysterious one. For all we know, our entire conversation could be being broadcast around the world as we speak. Hush, you. What do you know about science? I distinctly remember you set your shirt sleeve on fire in chemistry once, and you always fall asleep in physics. Well, maybe my technical expertise leaves a little to be desired. It really does. Try sticking to your poetry. It suits you better. You think I'm a good poet? I think you're an adequate poet. I enjoy reading your writing, even though I do find it unnecessarily grim. Thank you, Lily. You're welcome. Right. I'm going to begin cutting. Remain still, alright? Okay. Have you had much experience cutting hair before, Lily? More than you evidently have. That was a low blow. I know I didn't do a very good job with it. You don't need to rub it in. It is for the greater good. I hope if I make you aware of how grave a folly you committed, it will dissuade you from attempting it ever again. I don't know if I would call a single bad haircut a grave folly. You make it sound as though I've killed someone. Judging by the manic way you hacked at your own hair, you were in real danger of killing yourself. I'm surprised you didn't slice it through your jugular. I already told you I wasn't in the right frame of mind back then. I wasn't feeling very happy. I'm not entirely sure why I cut my hair. It just seemed like a less harmful alternative to cutting yourself. You don't need to act so surprised, Samantha. Cutting one's own hair is not an entirely unusual response to severe depression. I hope it wasn't too obvious that you have been unhappy lately. I think it was reasonably obvious, yes. You're rather bad at hiding how you feel. It must be because I am a pure and innocent maiden. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And that's why you're so vulnerable. You're just like a small child in some regards. I suppose so. I don't even know why I decided to do it. I just know I wasn't happy. And I didn't want to be the way I was anymore. I wanted to be somebody else, but I don't know how. I still don't. Maybe it isn't possible. Even if I cut all of my hair, it wouldn't change the me I am inside. I realized that as soon as I did it. I knew changing my appearance would not really change anything, but I still hoped. I thought maybe, but it was all in vain. It was a waste of time, much like everything else I do. I really am an idiot, huh? Silly. At least you were able to exercise some self-control. What do you mean? You did not cut off all of your hair. That's something to be grateful for. It would have been quite the tragedy if you did. You think? Perhaps not on the scale of Romeo and Juliet, but a small sadness nevertheless. You have pretty hair, and I dislike it when people needlessly destroy pretty things. There aren't enough pretty things in this world. Thank you. I'm glad you think it's pretty. If you had known I liked your hair, would you have stopped you from cutting it? I don't know. Maybe. But I felt so miserable back then I did not really care what anybody thought. To be honest, I think I really did want to die back then. You've always been so melodramatic. It's true, I thought about plunging the scissors into my neck and leading out all of the bathroom door. I thought there might be some kind of beauty in such a destructive action. I'm sure the poor person who would have to clean up after such a gruesome suicide wouldn't find it so. No, probably not. They would just find it a pain, wouldn't they? I've heard blood stings quite badly, and knowing me, I would probably splash it all over the shower curtains. I didn't realize you were so cynical. Mopping up after an incident like that could scar a person for life, and you think they would be more concerned about the shower curtains? I don't know. I try to be optimistic, but it's difficult sometimes. I suppose it must be. If you were so unhappy you considered killing yourself. I'm glad you didn't, though. It would be a great loss if you died so young. You're flattering me, Lillian. We both know you are the true genius here. Besides, you do not need to worry about me. I'm too much of a coward to ever kill myself, on purpose at any rate. I'm afraid it would hurt too much. Sometimes I tear up when I get a paper cut. You must sound like an idiot. I can't believe, sir, I can't even self-harm properly. Well, you may call it cowardly, but if you really are a coward, then I'm happy. If you were to kill yourself, I don't know what I would do. You would be sad if I died? Of course. Do you even need to ask such a stupid question? I'm sorry for being so morbid. Just wanted some reassurance. It's fine. Though I dislike stroking egos, I will make an exception in your case. Your self-esteem is so fragile, I doubt any compliments I could give you would make you arrogant. You are incapable of feeling pride in anything you do. Is this supposed to make me feel better? No, but this is. Really? I care about you. No matter how cold I act or what cruel things I say, I will always care about you. If you died, I would be heartbroken. You mean a lot to me. You're one of my closest friends. Even if you disagree, I think you have a lot of worth. Don't sell yourself short. Treat yourself well for the times when I'm not there to do it for you. You need to learn to take care of yourself. Just as much as I have learned, despite your shortcomings, to care about you. Ah, It really does look better. Do you like it? Yes. It almost looks as though it was done by a professional. What do you mean, almost? I strive to be a professional in each and everything I do. I never bother to undertake a task if I cannot complete it perfectly. You're so modest too. How did you get it to look so smooth? You must have done this before. Well, I've had a few chances to hone my craft in the past, yes. I cut my little brother's hair all the time when we were younger. You mean Theodore? Do you have any other brothers? Not that I know of. Why did you have to cut his hair though? Isn't that something the parents usually do? You would think that, wouldn't you? But there were complications. Complications? All families have their own circumstances. You of all people should know that, Sam. True. I just wondered. You never go home in holidays either, just like me. Do your parents, do they not want to talk to you? Or are they unable to? It's complicated. Then again, we do go to boarding school. I imagine most of the other girls here have complicated relationships with their families. Very few people without extraneous circumstances get sent to boarding school in this day and age. I suppose so. Okay, I think I'll end this episode here. It seems that it's still not going to end any soon. So let's continue with this Lillian route in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.